Hey guys, what's up? It's AB Trades, and today we're going to talk about the stocks to watch out for tomorrow. Tomorrow being Thursday. So today was a great trading day in SPY with the FOMC reporting, pushing us above into higher highs in the S&P 500. That is great to see. That means we're having some more upside potential here. We're not necessarily pushing down, creating a bearish market, even though I prefer bearish because it's faster to make money. But at least we're starting to trend now. The past few days have been really hard. They've been range bound. We've been sticking to more range bound strategies. But now that we're trending, we can start to see some more profits flowing in from trading. All right, guys, let's look at the S&P 500 specifically before we go into the rest of the stocks. So if you see here, this was a huge consolidation region back in October, November, December area. Until we started to sell off. Now we're going to start pushing into this region. Our first resistance to look at will be at 270. For SPY, our first resistance will be at 270. Then we're going to push into 271. Then the final test of 280. 280 will be one of the strongest resistance points to watch for coming up in SPY. However, we should have a decent amount of time before we test the 280 zone, at least a few days, if we're pushing this strong, which we shouldn't be. But so that's what we're looking at for our resistances, and we still have 263.45 as our support. Let's go into a 15-minute just to understand more of what's happening on an intraday time frame. So if you can see here, over the past few days, we've been making what is known as a symmetrical triangle, where we had this previous trend to the upside, and now we're starting to break through that with volume confirming the move, which means a few things. One, we're going to continue to run to the upside, or two, we're going to see a pullback down to 267 and then continue running. Because sometimes when you have long-term triangle patterns here, like this one that we had on the 15-minute where we bounced and we made this ascending triangle, we pushed through, we came back the next day, we tested this as support, then we pushed higher. So that's something we may actually see here on SPY again. We may come down and test this 267 level and then continue pushing. But based off what's happening now, we are trending to the upside, and we're no longer in a consolidation phase of the market. Let's look specifically at the earnings that came out today, starting with Facebook after hours. So if we can look at Facebook here, we definitely skyrocketed. That was definitely a push from the FOMC reports that caused SPY to go up, which also caused Apple and Facebook to rip intraday. But now we're starting to push into this resistance. In order to get a more clear time frame, let's look at a daily chart real quick. So if you can see here, we were consolidating along this point, just like in SPY. We broke above this previous downtrend that we've been having in Facebook, and now we're starting to break to the upside. This upside breakage is leaving us a lot of room to the upside to test previous supports that we've had that we made on the way down. So if you can see here on the way down, we started to bounce this region. Now we're starting to break above. Our first resistance that we want to make sure we factor into in Facebook is right here on 152.46. Because in order to be uptrending, we need to make these higher lows, which we are, and we need to make these higher highs. So we want to see a new high being formed on Facebook before we can test the new resistances at 158, 160, 163, 166, 170, 175, 180, and from on there. So our first check in Facebook is right here at 152. Again, we may see something like we did with Apple today. Apple earnings shot up overnight, just like Facebook is currently doing. But Facebook's all the way up here now because on the daily doesn't update. I'm just going to bring it to the 4 hours so you can see exactly where it is on Facebook. So we're actually pushing up into this region here. So we can definitely see a pullback down to 160. 160 in this area right here is a crucial support. So if we can see it start to pull back here to 160 and then that bounce up, then maybe we'll see something happen in Facebook. Again, it may be the same thing that we had in Apple, where we had that huge rush up after market because of earnings, and then we kind of just traded sideways the rest of the day, and so we showed some favor to the upside and ripped further. That's maybe something we're expecting from Facebook, but this is just showing, hey, the market is showing, hey, I'm here, and I'm not actually bearish just yet. Give me some room to the upside. That's what we're seeing on Facebook. Microsoft also reported after today. We're covering that here. It looks like we had just a huge swing. It's definitely being held down by this resistance point here. So just watch out for that on our descension on Microsoft. Tesla's always a big one. Tesla was hard to trade today. I didn't necessarily want to trade it, especially with Facebook. Facebook contracts are usually ranging from $10 to $1 max, but today they were up in the $5 range because of the IV increase. However, tomorrow the contract should be back at normal price after IV crush in the morning. So Tesla here, the reason why I'm mentioning IV crush is because the prices are already fairly high. Now we have IV, the prices were super high today, but now it's going back down. As you can see here, Tesla is currently moving because of earnings. Earnings pushed up and then down. Tesla released news that some important person, I don't know who in the company, is leaving. Again, always something bad with Tesla, but it looks like we're even in this 310 zone. So the fact that we're there and we're not doing much is bad, because this is the level of support, and that we can't find support here but we're staying in this range is bad. It means that we're confirming this downtrend, that we may even have room back down to 250. So just watch out for some long-term downside on Tesla from this move. Next stock, PayPal, Visa, Qualcomm, some other stuff. Let's go PayPal, because that always the options are decently well. You can see this. Looks like we've had a drop in PayPal down past support. The fact that we're dropping down past the support level is no good. We may see a continuation further down to even 78 to form this trend line here that's happening on the lines. We may see it eventually, long-term wise, PayPal drop. We're also looking at Visa. I believe it's V. Looks like we're seeing some bad earnings as well. We just can't hold this. We're going to almost put, like, what you want to call it, not a triple top, but a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top. Sector top. I don't know. I'm not good with numbers. We also have Qualcomm, QCOM. The reason why I want to mention this is because someone asked for it in the group, so I might as well with the earnings. So if you can see here, we've been on a previous down trip with Qualcomm. We're actually at a long-term support play. So if you're even thinking about stock investments, this is definitely a safe place to buy Qualcomm, because you have room all the way up to 76, even higher, with Qualcomm making higher highs. So you even long-term play. But remember, our long-term play is here. Last time it took 149 days, or maybe a third of the year to get there. So we're definitely seeing some long-term upside potential on Qualcomm, but that's not going to help us day trading. What we see now is we're going to look at this push to the upside. When we start breaking above this new resistance here at around $54, then we can start seeing some push up. So if you see it 154, if it gets rejected, you have room back down here to 49. If we can break above 154, we have room all the way up here to start trailing our way up on Qualcomm. So make sure you watch out for that. Now that we covered the stocks that had today, let's cover the stocks that are earnings tomorrow. I know these videos I'm doing have been so long, but it's just we have a lot of good earnings play to come. So what I mentioned about GE, I forgot if I mentioned it last time in the Sun and the Talk is I'm actually not put biased on GE right now, which is a surprise, because I've been put biased on it since around here, since early October, even into August. I've been put biased on GE, but not today actually, or not this past month, because this strong resistance at $9, we're starting to see some support there. This support is good. We're starting to see some movement up to the upside. But again, I can't say anything because the fundamentals of GE are terrible. They're selling off a bunch of stuff, not good. So we'll definitely see with earnings tomorrow if this $9 resistance is going to hold and push us higher, or if we can actually get that move to the downside we've been looking for. So if we can actually push up, we have all this room with no prior resistance up all the way up to $11. GE is a great stock to trade because usually the contracts are fairly cheap and they move a lot. I've seen people in the group who easily make 100% trades from that, mainly being Dr. C, if you know him in the group chat. So there's no head over resistance for GE if we get above. However, if we break down, we have room all the way down to the low of $6.66. What a number right there. So we can also go UPS spread and all those reasons, not the best options to trade, but that's coming out tomorrow. I also released the earnings in the free group chat links below. What else do we have? Anything interesting? Nothing that piques my interest except for Amazon after close tomorrow, Aflac, Symantec, ExxonMobil Friday. So that's a lot of things coming. Now let's actually cover the stocks that were asked for or requested in the group chat. I'm going to have to scroll a bit because they did a lot of talking in between me asking what they wanted and whatever else. So if you can see here, we said American Walnut, SPY, and AMD. We covered SPY. Let's go to AMD. So long-term wise, we have a resistance here at 23.78, and we know it's a resistance point because not only is there a high here, but this is also where two supports came down and tested, and then we fell below, and then we came up and we got rejected. This rejection is something that we're going to have to watch out for again on AMD as we're getting closer and closer to this point, around $24. So this $24 mark is something to watch out for tomorrow. I know that we can definitely push into this mark by tomorrow for sure. Watch for a rejection. If we have a rejection, we have room all the way back down to $19, even $16 in the long-term play. If not, we have room all the way up to $28. AMD is always a good stock to trade. Options are fairly liquid, and you can get a decent profit. AMRN is something else that someone requested. Never looked at this before. It looks like a penny stock hype and dump. We're going to look at the trade tab here. Probably going to give me only monthly options. Let's see here. I forgot how I got there. No, it looks like we actually have weekly. It's decent volume. The spread is about 5 cents. Not liking the spread. I'm not going to recommend it for a 5-cent spread. That's a $5 spread, and the pattern is not even there for me, so I'm going to skip ARMN. Sorry, CVAP, the person who requested that stock. Looks like we have Microsoft already covered, AMD covered, and Disney, which I did not cover. Let's see here. So if you can look here, sorry. I don't see much with Disney. I knew that we were expecting a rollover here, right here. We're expecting that push down. Now we're finally starting to set those lows in, and we're starting to confirm this breakout. Volume picked up. So we're probably retracing back in here to Disney before we make that complete turn down to 106. So if we get up here near 111, then look for a rejection back down to 106. If we can start breaking above, then we see room to the upside all the way up to 120. Most likely we have room to the downside on Disney. AMD, Qualcomm, Tesla, mention. What else are people saying? Bank of America, BAC, GE, keep your eyes on. So let's talk about BAC and then we'll call it done for tonight. BAC after earnings definitely really pushed up in this resistance level of about $30 here, $29.75, which is previous resistance because we bounced, we failed, rejection. But now it looks like we're starting to roll over. And if we roll over and if we drop below this support here at 26.60 really, then we can drop all the way back down to 26. So 28.60 is our support. If we drop below that, we have 26. If we start to bounce here, we have room to go to the upside to 31 or higher. Watch out that for BAC. Again, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned something useful, and let's make some money tomorrow.